Hi everyone, and welcome to the Game Breakdown Podcast, the podcast where we break down lots of different games, and in this case, a console, because we got the PS5. Woo! It finally turned up. I have a story about how mine turned up, by the way. I don't know if I told you this.
Yeah, but I've heard some stories as well, so tell me yours, and then I'll tell you what I've heard from other people.
Right, okay. We're getting straight into this, by the way. Mine, right, so obviously not cheap, expensive console being delivered, launch day. Obviously, lots of PS5s are going out. So I asked someone to stay at my flat during the day so they could take in the parcel, because I realised I ordered it to the wrong place and I was going to order it to my mum so that she could get it, but whatever. So I'm at work and I asked someone to come here, and it got to about lunchtime and I texted them. I thought, you haven't texted me and told me if this parcel's come yet. Like, is my PlayStation there or not? So I'm waiting, no reply. And then I get a notification on my Royal Mail app, and it says your parcel was delivered at 8:30 in the morning. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I left for work at like 7:45, and the person was there at my house at 8:15. So why did they not tell me that it's arrived? Now I've looked at the signature, and the signature says XPI, right? No idea what the fuck that means, because it was my dad that I asked to come here. His name does not start with an X, a P, or an I. I was like, what the hell does that mean? So I've then called my dad and gone, does my parcel come? And he was like, don't you read your messages? So I looked, I've got no message. I was like, what happened? Tell me. He goes, well, I turned up at your flat this morning and it was sitting on your doorstep. Royal Mail wankers left my brand new 500, literally almost 500 quid PS5 sitting on my doorstep. Like, thank God that my dad got there like half an hour to 45 minutes later, because it was only there for a little while. But anything could have happened. It could have been nicked. It could have been broken.
Did they not get the memo that it was like probably one of the biggest game launches, and there was going to be a lot of deliveries of massive boxes containing PlayStation 5s? Like, you can't just leave that shit on the doorstep.
He probably had 10 others in the back of his van. Like, he must have known it was a big day, and he left it sitting on my doorstep. Now, luckily, my corridor is like somewhat parcel protected, but it's broken, so it was open. That's how he got through. But he just left it there. So anything
That's
could have
heartbreaking.
happened.
That's actually heartbreaking.
It is. I had half a mind to call them and be like, where's my PS5, and see if I can get a free one. But
you should have done that.
I should have done that.
Are you going to do it? I think you should do it. Or
After
did you
that.
I don't yeah.
And then Very hear this podcast, and they're like,
yeah, Anthony, we actually,
we're big fans of TGB, and we already know that you've got your PlayStation. Oh, okay, great.
Well, I was hearing from quite a few people that they were getting replacements. So, for some reason, people were getting things delivered such as a foot spa, a toaster.
No way.
Yeah, instead of their consoles. Now, I don't know why that was happening, because if you've paid for it and you've guaranteed yourself an order, why are you getting a foot spa?
Yeah.
But there's some other stories like that flying around, which I thought was quite amusing.
I wouldn't say no to the PS5 foot spa experience. The music does kind of sound like a spa whenever you turn them on.
I'm not a fan of the beep. I mean, it's the same beep it has had from the PS4, but it feels a little bit more like dramatic and like higher. It's just like really like boom.
Really? It sounds the same to me.
Yeah. No, I hear it on a different wavelength. Like, I'm like that.
You feel it on a spiritual level.
Yeah, I'm like, that is not the same beep. That's a different beep, and it's a bit much. But other than that, loving it.
Well, I think
I collected mine. More. Yeah.
You what?
No, I
collected it.
Collect it. Like, I got mine picked up from Game, so I didn't have any. People. Yeah, I didn't have any issues, because originally I didn't think I was going to get it, did I? I was like, oh no, like, we're in lockdown now in the UK, in the north. I think everyone's locked down. I can't keep track of what's locked down, what's not locked down.
Oh, I don't know. Just go home and stay to work, please.
Yeah. So I didn't think I was even going to get it, and then we did a pre-purchase thing where you had to buy it, and then you'd go into the store, and I thought, well, if they close and I've just paid £450 for this console, and they decide that actually no, we're not going to open for this, I'll be a little bit pissed off. But it all went really well, and it was just like a pick up and go straight off the bat, so I had a really good experience. Like, a lot of people.
That sounds like relatively quick and easy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so perfect condition, perfect box. Yeah.
And where did you pre-order it from? Was it Game? Was it the good old-fashioned Game?
Yeah, good old Game. I mean, they get some stick, and like I used to work for Game, and I know it is difficult because a lot of it's like in selling and things like that. Like I get it, but like
they deserve the stick. Yeah.
I really feel like they've done such a good job this launch, because not only is a console launch hard anyways, especially this one with pandemic and everything. So yeah, props to Game and any other game retailers that have made it work, you know.
I will say, when Resident Evil 3 launched, that was like the beginning of the pandemic, and I was really nervous that I was going to get my game, but they did make sure it turned up literally on launch day. So they are improving, I think.
It's their online that's a bit funny, but that's a different company.
The website is not good.
Yeah, it's owned by different people, because they're basically Games just owned by millions of different people. So the online's completely opposite to in-store. It's really stupid, but yeah,
that's all a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not here to drag Game. That would be next week's podcast. At the moment, we're here to talk about the fact that through some strange twist of fate, we did both manage to get ourselves a PS5. Now, as we've just told you, it wasn't the easiest experience in some ways of getting them, and like in the previous podcast, of getting a PS5 or even having them delivered to your house was a bit tricky, unless you pick them up. But first impressions. Okay, just sum up your very limited PS5 experience in one word.
Great. What do you mean?
That sounds really basic.
What kind of question is
mediocre.
That? Okay. Thrilling. Is that a better word?
Ooh.
It was a thrilling day. Yeah, I felt like a kid.
Again. I was actually gonna say thrilling. I'm quite glad that you said that. That sums it up perfectly. I have so much. I mean, obviously, we've literally only played. I mean, I've only had this console in my house since Thursday night, because by the time I got home from work, so I've only actually experienced it for 2 days, really, Friday and Saturday. So after work, I'm really, really impressed with this console on a deep level.
Do you know what? I was actually quite taken aback by how different it looks in person to how it does in photos, because I always looked at the game at the DualSense and I thought, oh, that's really white, and like the console's really white and it's very kind of like pointy and big, but in person it almost looks like it has this kind of grey silvery kind of hue to it, and it really looks fucking fresh, you know, like
it does.
And it
crisp.
And it's a big boy, but it's not as big as I was actually expecting it to be. I think when you saw them compared to the Xbox, it almost came across like it was going to be really, really big. But it's not actually as big as I thought. It's big, but it's not like overbearingly big for me.
Interesting. Okay, because I'm the complete opposite. I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't think it'd be this big. And it's fucking heavy.
Oh, it's a heavy one, yeah. I was like fucking shaking trying to get out of the box. I was like, this is massive.
It's huge. I mean, well, I told you what happened when I opened my box. It was so heavy that I tried to lift, not that like I couldn't lift it, but I tried to lift. Basically, the PS5 box came in like a parcel box, like another box.
Yeah.
And it fit perfectly. So I couldn't just lift it out. I had to like almost turn it upside down like a cake and bang the bottom of it. So where I'm trying to grab, I couldn't see if I was grabbing the top of the box or the bottom, because I opened the parcel, like they packed it upside down. So I'm thinking that I'm grabbing the top of the box. I'm like looking for a handle. I can't see a handle. And then I feel something. So I'm like, oh, I'll pull that. And I pulled that and I ripped the PS5 box. And like, when I shredded it, it was so heartbreaking. It shredded up and I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
And then I really wanted to call Very and be like, I didn't get a fucking PlayStation. Send me a replacement now.
I just want a new box.
I just want a new box. I was so pissed off, but it's heavy.
I will say, I didn't feel as... like, if you compare it to the Xbox opening, they took a lot of time in that packaging, and I felt like they took a lot more time than Sony has with their PlayStation packaging, because the Xbox
it's been the same for the past like 4 years, isn't it? Like four releases.
Yeah, the Xbox is all like nicely wrapped in like this black sort of like tissue paper with this little sticker on it. It's all very, it looks like they've really taken the time for that sort of thing. But when you open the PlayStation, it's just your bog standard cardboard cutouts packed away, you know, which I feel was like a bit of a shame, because it was like, well, Xbox have really gone to give that kind of extra experience of a really nicely wrapped console. I know it's only like a really minor thing, but I just thought like it would have been nice if they'd kind of just done something a little bit like special with it, you know, to make it feel like an actual gift, like Xbox did.
I get that. They could have wrapped it in like tissue paper that had like little silver triangle, X's, squares, and circles or something on it, or something cool and collectory, like that you'd want to keep.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that.
Obviously, it's not about the box; it's about what the console can do. And
exactly.
we can't compare it to the Xbox One firsthand, though I've heard some really, really good things about it. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about Astro.
Well, Astro, okay, so I am so impressed with that. Astro is basically, for anyone who is waiting to get their PS5, Astro is basically like a demo for the PS5. Like, to me, it feels like a tutorial level of how the PS5 works, and also all the different functionalities, how they can be used in a game. Like, would you agree?
Yeah, it almost reminds me, if anyone ever had the Wii console and there was Rabbids, and I remember you could hold the Wii controller, and if you shook it, it sounded like the Rabbids were in the controller. It's sort of a very similar experience to that. Yeah. In the beginning, obviously. But yeah, no, definitely. It basically gives you kind of, all the functionality on the console. Also, the microphone in the DualSense is like the speaker, is so good. It's so improved.
It's amazing. I feel like before we even talk about Astro, let's talk about the rest of like the hardware. Like the DualSense controller, literally, I mean, I text you. The only way to describe it is that it physically blew me away. Like, the haptic feedback in that is fucking ridiculous. Like, that is so good. I generally felt it really added to my experience. It wasn't just like, oh, look, it vibrates. Like, it was really, really a weird sensation at first. Like, but it really made sense. I kept feeling like when I got resistance in the back triggers that I was going to break it by pressing them down. But no, it adds so much to the game. So the haptic feedback is like ridiculous. If you're walking through a windy area, you feel the wind in the controller. Like, you feel the splatters of rain hitting Astro's head, like on the controller in different points. Like, when you're pulling down a lever, you press the back button and you feel the resistance of the lever as you're pulling it. And like, there is just so many fantastic things. That controller is almost like inhuman. Like, I don't know how it does what it does at the speed that it does it.
Yeah, like, it's very amazing. It's very bit of kit. Like, fine tuned. And we spoke previously on a previous podcast about how we weren't always a fan of them, not them specifically, but some companies trying to create these novelty ideas with the controller that don't always work. But this, for me, I don't think it's going to be a novelty thing. Like, I instantly felt immersed, and I quite like the fact that they've kind of really honed in on the controller, because you're never going to be able to replace that, no matter what you do, no matter how good VR becomes or whatever. No. Like, it's just a staple in gaming, isn't it, to have a controller? Like, nothing's going to replace it. And I just feel like they've really outdone themselves with the haptic feedback on that. And it doesn't feel like, okay, it's going to take a little while to get used to pressing the triggers, because you're not used to feeling that resistance. But as soon as I pressed that, I thought, oh my God, Call of Duty, like any kind of first-person shooter or shooter is going to feel amazing. The fact that you can, like you said, feel the weather through it. It's just such a good controller. Like, I can't fault it.
It's weird to say that you can feel the environment through a controller like that, and it literally won't make sense to you until you have it in your hands. But you can, it adds a whole like fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever dimension to the game, like as you're playing it. Like, I can only imagine, like they did show footage, I think it was of COD, where if you shoot a certain gun so many times in a row too quickly and your gun jams, while your character is fixing it on screen, your back buttons will seize up and you can't press them, and like it adds to the fact that, you know, it makes it seem more realistic. Like, that, to me, that's the kind of immersion I want. Not like VR stuff. I don't want to be like I'm in the game world. That's the kind of immersion I want, where like it feels a bit more realistic, like with the controls. Like, it's just fantastic. Like, it was really, really good, and it works so well with Astro, because like Astro is made to show off all of these features, but it does it so well. Like, Astro aside, it's a really bloody good game. Like, I've had so much fun playing it. It's been the only thing I've pretty much played.
Yeah, I was blown away. Like, naturally, you think, oh, it's the free game, you know, whatever. Like, it's not going to be that great. I was hooked. I was playing that for like most of the evening.
Hours.
You know,
Hours.
I couldn't get off it. Yeah, hours. I was like, this is so cute. Like, the controls feel great. The visuals are great. We don't want to kind of spoil the game, but like the nostalgia that PlayStation have brought through that game is brilliant. It's so well done. And it was just it was a really nice experience. And I can see myself platinum in that game, you know? Like,
100%.
I feel like it's as quality as a main title, in my opinion. And the fact that we get it for free, I was like, can't go wrong.
Exactly. Result. I'm waiting for my Astro merch. That little robot is so damn cute. He's a really cute little character. All the other little Astro bots. His little legs, his little hands, his little idle animations that he throws a PSP in his hand or puts a VR on his head. Like, everything down to the smallest detail has been thought of. Like, obviously, I have just recently, because I haven't got off of it, I've just completed Astro. Still getting all the other little side bits and getting all the extras and stuff, but the main, I suppose you can say, story of the game, if you like the narrative it follows, I've completed that. And it's very cool. Like, as you go through each level, and I think also it's so clever that you're literally inside the PlayStation. Like, I think that was such a cool concept that you're going through, like, even the names of the places, like the jungle, like teraflops, treetops, and the GPU
SSD
jungle.
Speedway.
Yeah, it's so cool. And like, I was like doing a little like bit of hunting as I was going around, and I found so many other Easter eggs like linking to other games, but also about this game. So there's like little bits where I found that I smashed walls up and it had words written on it that was like a weird poem, and it was about a GPU. And then I realized it was the lyrics to the song that was playing behind me. And then I actually listened to the words of it, and it's like, I'm your GPU making the sprites move. Like, it's, and I thought, oh my God, like everything has been thought of. And this is like purely a Sony game, like to show off the PlayStation. Like, they've really thought back on everything they've done over the years and thought, how can we like present it in a really unique way? Like taking a trip down memory lane for the PS1, the PS2, the PS3, and the PS4, like, was insane to me. That was everything the little nerd in me wanted. It was so good.
I think they've really kind of outdone themselves. It's almost like they've hit like a pinnacle in their journey of creating consoles and games for us, where they realise that they've shaped, you know, a lot of people. I mean, like we said before, it was our first proper console. Like, we've been with them through our lives, you know, and it was nice to kind of take that step back. And I feel like they've really pushed it out the park with that little Astro. It just made you feel so much more like connected to the company, and it was just really clever, you know. It's 100%. Like it sold me that I'm probably never gonna leave like Sony, you know. Like, I just love them. I just love it. I thought it was really cute.
I thought like everything down, like even the little CPU plaza in the middle when you're going, that little like robot fish thing that you can like punch and it punches you back, or like it looks at you, like just everything down to the small details was great. And like, I know you haven't got as far as I have into Astro, so I won't spoil it, but once you complete the 4 areas and get the 4 consoles, you then unlock a 5th level, which I'll just tell you the name of. It's called 1994 Throwback. And so that cute. Just literally is so good. That literally tells you all you need to know. I'm just going to tell you the first, I mean, the whole level is fantastic, but the first maybe 10 seconds gripped me to the point where like my heart stopped and I was like, am I about to experience what I think I'm about to experience? And there's a very special CD that you see, and I want you to get there so bad so you can just like freak out with me, because it was so good. I literally felt like I was 10 again. It was brilliant.
So impatient. I'm probably going to sit on it tonight. I think I'll sort it out, and I'll play some tonight upstairs or something.
Please,
because basically, for anyone that's confused as why I'm saying I need to sort things out, the other half was painting today, and she decided that she weren't going to unplug the power cable. She unplugged the PS5, which is obviously a bonus. You know, I don't want that getting messed up.
No, of course. God
so
forbid.
So now during the painting process, my power cable for my PS5 is just completely covered in paint, and I can't play my console, which is really sad. But as you told me, which I didn't even realise, that the PS4 Y is the same. So hopefully I've got one floating around. Because I said before, like, I'm obviously selling mine because I don't feel like I need it with the 5. But I do feel like the 5's kind of reassured me in that I don't feel bad that I've sold my consoles, because I do feel like it's you know, it's the PS4 but better, you know.
I will say, it's been in your house less than 48 hours. Like, just over maybe, and this is how you treat it. Like,
that's not even me. I I weren't even in the room. I just got a picture of a bloody power cable covered in paint, and I was like pissed off for the rest of the day.
Oh my god, she had the guts to send it to you. Like she had the audacity to send you a picture of, look at the mess I've made. Like, what the...
I was like, it's fine. Really, I'm heartbroken. I sat there sulking for like half an hour.
That would not have been my response. Let me tell you, I'd have called the lawyers. I'd have been like, how quickly can you get me out of this marriage? Soon, or not good. But yeah, hopefully you can sort that shit out and you can get started, because Astro, I think, is a fantastic little game. It's really cute, and like I said, I'm waiting for the merch to drop because they look like they can make a lot of money off that little gizmo thing, little robot. What's it?
Oh
it's
yeah,
cool.
definitely.
But yeah, I have like been really sad. I've taken advantage of the fact that you can now select to record a certain amount of footage that you play through. So you can choose 15 seconds, 30 seconds. I think it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes in an hour. I think. I can't remember. I've only done it like a few times. And I have recorded little bits of footage of little Easter eggs that I found from different like PS1, 2, 3 and 4 games. So I'll be posting that to our Instagram if anyone actually cares. But I was obsessed with it. Everyone will love it. I just kept doing it. I just kept finding new bits like, oh my god, that's that game. And there was a few games that I couldn't quite get, first of all, because obviously I haven't played every single PS4 game or 3 games. So like there was a few that I didn't quite get. I had a rough idea and I was like, maybe that's referring to that. But there's a really cool Devil May Cry one. There's a really cool Resident Evil one. And yeah, they're just so bloody good. I just love it. Every detail. This game was made to teach you how to use your new console as a fan, like to drag you through as a fan. It was so good. But yeah. I haven't played many other PS5 games. Obviously there's not that many out. Well, there is some out, but not obviously as many as there will be soon. Doesn't make any sense. Sorry. There will be more out soon. So basically I did make one mistake as well. I started to download some previous PS4 games because obviously I haven't got a whole library. I want to get Sackboy and I want to get Assassin's Creed, but I didn't have any ready on launch day. So I thought, well, I'll download a few of my PS4 games and I'll buy some PS5 games and we'll see, like, when they get here, I'll start playing them. So I chose the wrong setting at the beginning. So when you set it up, it says, do you want eco, rest mode, or standard mode or whatever. And in rest mode, it has this thing where it said, make sure you save your games because if we update it in the background, it will restart and you'll lose your save data. Now, I never just leave an unsaved game overnight. I never do that. But for some reason, my brain was like, oh, that's a bit worrying. Maybe choose eco. But in my head, I still thought it was rest mode. So I thought that it would download these things overnight. So these 5 PS4 games plus Bug Snacks and Shadow of Mordor that I thought would download didn't overnight. So I woke up this morning like ready, like, yep, let's go. Let's play these games. Not a single one was there. So that's why I finished Astro's Playroom, because it was the only game I had.
Still a good game, but that's
still a good game.
Very unfortunate. So I started the PS5 evening after work properly on Friday, playing Astro, and then I had a little go at Bug Snacks. You haven't played it yourself yet.
No, it's cute to download.
I'm very unsure about it. It's an interesting title. I think it's more of a case like I just don't know what's happening. But I guess that was the whole point. I mean, it's Bug Snacks. It's weird. It's like, it's just a weird title, But,
it is a really strange name. I'm
yeah,
guessing
I just
bugs
didn't
that
really
are
kind
snacks.
of get it. Well, yeah, but they're not. Like, they are. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. Okay. So I'm going to try and play more of that at some point. But yeah, I'm kind of just not that sold on it. But when I watched it in the reveal, I thought, oh my god, Bug Snacks looks so weird and cute and fun.
Yeah, me too.
And then when I actually got the game, it's very dark and actually quite terrifying. And I was like, this is twisted.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's weird. You'll understand what I mean when you play it. Just not a fan. Not yet anyways. Like, I need to just adjust to the whole concept because I just do not understand. And then
does it have a narrative, like any kind of story, or is it just like silly fun?
Well, I guess so. I mean, I'm not that far into it, but like I'm sort of at the moment trying to find someone that I think is like an explorer or something. and I'm assuming you kind of want to be an explorer yourself. That's the whole idea of it, I think. But like, it's just a very strange game, but I'll probably like it more in future when I go back to it. It's like one of those things where you'll probably give it another chance and be like, okay, this is slightly addicting, but for me at the moment, I was a bit like, which is, to be fair, I think when you get a new console and you've got so many free games to play, it's hard to keep your attention because you just want them all because they're there. So I'm actually quite impressed that Astro kept me hooked for as long as it did, because most of the time I'd like jump in and out, you know. But yeah, other than that, I checked out the new, obviously, subscription based, well, Game Pass style addition to the PlayStation Plus subscription service, and I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by the games on there. There's pretty much one for every kind of gamer. You've got driving on there, you've got a bit of horror, you've got, you know, Final Fantasy and things like that. So yeah, it's quite a good one, quite some good ones. I got Days Gone because I've never played that before. Really enjoying it. So yeah, we need to get ourselves a PS5 game.
I know, how fucking sad.
I don't
Let's
feel
talk about
like we're the
PS5
only
with no
people that did
PS5
it.
games.
I know. I don't feel like we're the only ones, because the goal was to get the console on it, because it was like so difficult to get the console.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, because the fact that Christmas is coming up, I was like, well, what I'll do, if I can get, obviously I can't be like, hey, who wants to buy me a PS5? Like, that's not going to happen. So I thought in my head, I'll buy my PS5, and then people can, you know, some people, if they want to, can buy me games if they can. Obviously, I can't ask everyone for that, but I thought, like, for my mum and dad, I'll be like, will you get me a PS5 game, please? Yeah. So, like, not nearly 30, but, you know, it's fine.
But I do it. We all do it. It's fine.
That's why I'm going with it. However, it did make me realise, after playing it for, like, basically, I went back to play Resident Evil 3. That was the other game that I played, because I had the disc of it. Basically, we both had the disc edition. And I got a bit confused last night. I was having a bit of a moment. I was looking for where I could download my other PS4 games, and it took like longer than I'm embarrassed to admit how long it took me to realise that I could only download the games that I've obviously bought digitally. I was like, why can't I download Resident Evil 3? I don't understand. Like, wait, it's got a padlock on it. I can play it. Like, how fucking thick? And then it took me literally about 20 minutes. And I was going, why can't I do it? And I think I was even texting you at the time. And I looked down and I saw the game case sit on the floor, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why. It's a physical disc. I have to put the disc in, maybe. Like, how is that? Like, that's just like...
It was all the excitement. You just lost track.
It was just not okay. So I was like, for God's sake. So I got up and I put the disc in. And yeah, it played really well. I mean, obviously it played really well on the PS4 too, so I'm not going to sit there and say the PS5 revolutionized it, but it probably had like more consistent frame rate and stuff like that, but it played really well, and it played so quickly. That was what I was so impressed with. I was able to swap between Astro and Resident Evil within like 3 seconds. I was playing the game and it loaded up and I was running around Raccoon City. Like, it didn't take, there was no loading time, there was no like, oh, wait a second while we, you know, put this game into stasis and open this one up or whatever. Like, nothing. It played so smoothly. I will say, I'm taking a bit of time to get used to the UI. Obviously, it's only been 2 days, but the PS5 UI is a bit interesting, which it's not my favourite thing, but I might learn to love it.
I was going to say, the UI for me, I'm not a huge fan, unfortunately.
You're not. Tell us why.
I think it's more... Like, it looks clean enough. I think the user experience of it is not great, because for like off the bat, you have to press your home button to then go into a certain menu, to then go into the game, to then close the game.
Yeah.
You need to basically the shop as well, like, it's not clear, you know, like, fair enough, it's got it kind of on the top, but I don't know, like, your deals don't come up first, and maybe that's going to take some time while people are still getting their consoles delivered and they want to push the PS5 games at the top. But I just kind of feel like, it's not a very kind of enjoyable experience. It almost feels a little bit like you don't know where to look, and I think that's the main issue for me. Not a fan. And the icons seem really small.
Right, that's my thing. I think the icons that appear at the bottom are very small, and I think also the cards are very small at the top, like when you're actually siphoning through.
Feel small,
I wasn't really a fan of that. I thought they could have been a bit larger. I think especially when you come from the PS4, where obviously it's a lot larger and a lot more in your face of what's actually happening. I mean, even the PS3, the icons, like, you could see what was going on, but I feel like with the PS4 they're just a little bit too small and sleek and tucked away. One thing that it took me a while to figure out is that basically when you press the home button, obviously that doesn't take, like, the PlayStation button, the PS button, whatever you want to call it, that doesn't take you to the home anymore. You have to hold it for that to happen. That to me was a bit of like a mind fuck, because I'm so used to, obviously with the PS4 you press it and you jump straight back to the home screen. And then one thing you said was like, to close a game you have to open the switcher up, so you have to press the home button, open switcher, and then close the game. I found a different way of doing it, which is not really any less steps. Rather than pressing the home button, you hold it and that takes you onto the home screen, and then you can press options and quit like you would in the PS4. So it's the same but different in a way. You have to learn to do the same thing in a very slightly different way, and it's just annoying because you've been doing it for this way for like 10 years nearly. So that's the difference. But like, it's not a massive deal. I'm sure after like a month we'll be very used to it and it'll be fine. But I do think the cards need to be larger a little bit. Like, I think the UI on a whole is really intuitive, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what it can probably really do. Like, it's a powerful machine, bruv. Like, I'm sure there's going to be more features coming soon.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I guess it's just a case of finding what you want it to do, like, and how you kind of want to do it. Like you said, when you're so used to something. And I mean, we're getting on a bit now, so we're like, what's this do? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
where's my glasses?
Where's my glasses? But I do feel like off the bat, I didn't sink into it as quickly as I did with the PS4. And
yeah, it's not as user friendly.
That is. Yeah. That's the only issue. But again, it'll change. And
Question.
I still need to add a little background.
Oh yeah. Oh, can you do that?
Yes. I don't know how, but you can. I'm assuming you can. You should be able to. If not, that's concerning. I haven't actually checked, but I'm pretty sure
I vaguely remember seeing someone add a background like in beta footage with previously. Oh, one thing. I can't find my trophies. I will say I haven't looked very hard. I haven't specifically looked, but they're not obvious to me.
I found mine, and if I'm being honest, for anything kind of specific that you want to do, so say you want to specifically look at the sales, look at your trophies, anything like that, just use the app on your phone, because it's 10 times quicker and you can scroll easier. Basically, to look for your trophies, you go down to, you press your button, you go to your little drop dock, shall we say.
Oh,
and then
nice phrasing.
Drop dock, yeah.
Drop dock, trademark.
Click, yeah, TM. And then you click on your profile, and then you go to your trophies through your profile.
Oh,
and then you click on the game, and then you scroll from from left to right, right to left. No,
that's really different. I haven't done that because obviously all the other consoles that have had home screens, so 3 and 4, the trophies have been like in your face because they're quite a big part of gameplay. Like, if you want to platinum a game, you need to know what trophies are left and what you've got to do and what have you.
They do give you walkthroughs though. If you press your home button, it does give you that walkthrough, but that takes some getting used to. They
do, but that does take getting used to, because it doesn't display all of them either. So you just kind of have like a never-ending stream of like... So for Astro, when I was playing it, there was a few things that I pressed it and I saw something that I could easily do. So I very quickly did it and got the trophy. And then when that one had like been clocked, it moved over and I got another blank one appear afterwards. So there was like 4 blank ones, and every time I completed one, another one would join. And I was like, how do I know like how many I've got left? Like, how do I know if I've got 4 trophies left or if I've 20% done, 30% done? That's what I think needs a bit of fine-tuning. Obviously, we've only just started using it. I might be using it incorrectly. I might have not realised where things are yet. Fine. But for my initial playthrough, I was like, where's that then? So it might take a bit of adjustment, but then maybe trophies are going to become less important. Maybe that's what they're saying. Because they already did change them, didn't they? They had that update that, like, changed your trophy level. And mine went from being, like, 20 or 30 something to being like 400 and whatever. I don't know, like, it jumped up into the hundreds and it got really confusing.
Yeah, mine made me feel like it was good, and then when this update happened, I felt like it was shit. And I was like, oh, so maybe it's not as good. Like, I've got 10 platinums, which I'm quite proud of. I know that's not many for many people. Yeah. But
no, that is a lot. I've only got 2, so...
Yeah. So I've got 10. I don't have enough time. 10
trophies and no life.
Yeah, literally. That's the problem. I do miss platinum in games, but I just don't have time for it anymore.
Yeah.
But
I never had the time.
Yeah, clearly.
It wasn't good enough either way.
But yeah, I do feel like the UI needs a little bit of tweaking. But again, it could just be because we're getting old and we don't understand. So
Possibly.
who really knows? Who really knows?
I did think when it got updated and it was like in the hundreds, it did make me think, you know, when you play and they're typically like Japanese style games, like let's say like even on like the PS1 and stuff, do you remember a game like G Darius or like even the Dance Dance Revolution games where like everything where they're programmed to make you feel like you're doing fantastic. It's like the apps. Like whenever you do a small achievement, you don't get 1 point, you get 1,000. And realistically, that means nothing because your grand prize will still be, you know, 100 million points needed. But because you're getting so many more points, you feel like you're doing better. That's like how I took the trophy update. It was like, oh, now we're all getting great. Like now each bronze trophy's worth like 100 or whatever. That's like really cool. And it's like, well, realistically, you've just taken everyone's trophy level and times it by 10. Like it doesn't mean anything because everyone's still on the same playing field. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't actually add like anything to it.
I think it kind of plays into like the whole reward thing, doesn't it? So it's like, oh, it's worth this much. When to me, it's still the exact same. It's just a different number. I'm like, okay, but like I've not got anything.
You're like, okay, but it's still the same. So
it's still the same. I do really like. I mean, this is obviously kind of separate from the PS5 discussion, but not really. I actually like the update to the app on the phone. I feel like that's pretty good.
I do too. It's easier to navigate, I think, because the PlayStation
really
app was confusing.
Yeah, PlayStation app used to be absolute trash. They've really took the time with the app, and they've done. And
they've got rid of the messages app as well, haven't they? They've taken that out because they had the separate app.
Which I love because now it's all together. Whereas I never knew why that was never an option because I could always sign into that. I could always sign into the PlayStation app, but every time I tried to sign into the messages app, it would never let me, and I'd always have an issue. So the fact that it's now all together, I'm like, oh, thank God for that. Like,
yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, well, going back to the actual console itself for just a moment. So did you intend on or have you bought any accessories for it? Because I wanted to buy the bundle that came with the... Oh, also, in a minute, I've got something to tell you about bundles. Say bundles to me in like 2 minutes. But also, so I tried to buy the bundle that came with the PlayStation 5 console and the camera. But when GameGate happened, which I'm going to call it because Game fucked everyone over... I lost that option and I had to get it from Very, and I never had the option to get the camera in the end, so I haven't got it. I don't know why. I've not seen anything special about the camera, but I just had like proper iToy vibes from like 2000s, and I thought something's going to happen with this camera. It's going to be used in a really interesting way, whether it's even stuff like Skype and stuff, or like talking to other people with it, or something huge gaming wise. I'm assuming something similar to the what was it called with the wand, what's it? I think PlayStation Move. Something similar like that will be coming this way. So,
do you reckon?
I don't know. I've got a feeling because what would the camera be for? Unless they're going to re-release iToy and remaster that, which I fucking live for, by the way. I miss iToy. Do you remember that? Do you remember that cleaning windows game? When I'm cleaning windows.
Yeah.
Oh, when you got an Astro, you can unlock. You can find the iToy, and the caption for the iToy is, perfect for your gran, or perfect for playing with your granny or something. And it was like, that made me think, do you remember the beginning of iToy and your granny would be like playing the game and playing cleaning with
That's so bloody clever. I think, I reckon the camera could be used in that way. I know a lot of people, I think they're kind of catering more towards, as well as the streaming market, because people use their PlayStation cameras to stream. And and the DualSense now, if you've noticed, you don't actually need a headset, so you can just talk through from the controller, which is really cool as well.
Yeah, really cool.
But I really, really want the headset, the 3D headset. Really want that, but it's sold out everywhere, so I couldn't grab one.
Yeah, it is sold out in like quite a lot of places. I don't even know. I think they had it. I looked the last time on Very. I'm not sure. But the headset doesn't appeal to me. I don't know why. Although I say that, I'm currently recording this podcast with a PlayStation headset. So I could do with a new one, to be honest with you, because this is well old. But the camera was the one that grabbed me by the balls.
By the balls. I just feel like if you think about the DualSense and the haptics and how immersive just the controller is, I can only imagine how immersive they've made the headphones in how... Because it's 3D. It's like 3D audio, so it's going to be very like...
Can you imagine haptic? Can you imagine haptic headphones?
That would be...
That would shit me up.
You could be onto something here.
I know.
If anyone
Sony
has
hire
the ability to make this, do not make it. We trademark it now.
We trademark it. What do we got?
I'm going to post myself in a letter. Yeah.
Haptic headphones. They're coming.
I feel like haptics are going to really lift off in this generation, because I've seen on Facebook ads these like vests that have haptic feedback.
Yes,
and I'm
I've seen
thinking
them.
they're going to... Yeah. So
when you get shot in COD and stuff, and you get like the bullet wound like pierce you. Yeah. Well, I mean, haptic's been around literally. Haptic's been around for a little bit, because I mean, like, I have an iPhone. My iPhone's haptic, and like has been for a while. Like since the home button started to disappear on iPhones, like when it started to go like with this, I think it was the 6 or 7 where the home button on the back. Yeah, like when it was there but wasn't real, that was all haptic. So it has been a thing, but like I've never seen it used the way the PS5 uses it. Like it's literally a technological marvel to me. Like I don't know if I'm old, but it impresses me so bloody much.
I think we are. I bet like all the youngsters are going to be like, God, what year were these born if they're this excited over a vibrating controller? Blah, blah, blah. I do really, really want to feel the comparison of haptics in the Xbox One control against the PS5 control.
Well, here's my question. Does the Xbox have haptic? Because I don't think it does. Oh, it does.
They didn't really change too much about the pad, but it does actually support haptics. So
right.
I want to know how it feels, because it feels so good on the PlayStation. But I reckon it must feel similar, if not the same.
I highly doubt that.
Why?
I don't agree with you. I think that because like whether people like it or not, and this is not like a fanboy thing, Sony has always been a step ahead of Microsoft when it comes to consoles. Like throughout every generation, people can sit and argue like, oh, PlayStation's the best or Xbox the best, but it doesn't really matter. Like Sony has always been the better developed one. Sony's a bit like Apple. They take ideas that have been around for a hot minute and they purpose them in their own way. Do you know what I mean? Like the only reason that I feel that the PS5 can play PS4 games is because of Microsoft having their backwards compatibility. I reckon that was a Panic Stations moment, and they were inspired by that to then allow it to do things like that. Like I reckon Sony takes a lot of influence from elsewhere, but they always manage to do things better. I feel like this DualSense controller is going to be something special. Like I don't feel like it's going to be replicated in the Xbox. I feel like you might come close to the experience. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Xbox is probably trash, because it probably isn't. I don't know. It's obviously a very successful business and franchise and what have you. But I have a feeling that it won't be similar. I think it will be subpar, because I feel like the DualSense has been the PS5's big selling point. Like, how much have you heard about the DualSense? They've been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And I think it's because they know it's their kind of like, what's the word? It's their kind of like hidden weapon. It's their secret weapon.
And I'm going to disagree. No, I do definitely agree that the PlayStation DualSense is a brilliant, brilliant pad. I do feel like Xbox were doing it better for a long time. I think the design of the Xbox pad is a lot more comfortable. It fits in someone's hands a lot better because of how the sticks are, like your hand just relaxes on the pad, and like a lot of people have said that. And if you now look at the DualSense next to the Xbox pad, you really do see where PlayStation have taken a lot of this kind of style. They haven't moved the sticks because that would just be a bit like, hello, this now looks like an Xbox pad. But if you look at the shape of the control, it's very, very similar. So I think like it is really good, but I do feel like there's not really much else Xbox could have done with the design. Whereas when you look at the PS4 controller, I was never a fan of the PS4 controller. I always thought it looked really odd. Okay. No, I grew to like it more as I kind of just got used to it. Mm-hmm. But off the bat, I didn't like it when I first saw it. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. But with the DualSense, I fell in love with it straight away. So I think it's just because it's got that kind of curvature to it and it doesn't seem so, like, rigid, you know?
See, to me, the Xbox controllers have always seemed like very thick and very big. So, like, in the sense of,
they are chunky.
Yeah, but like in the sense of like, you know, where the PlayStation controller, like you can almost wrap your bottom two fingers, your little finger and your whatever you call this finger, like as they wrap around the base of the actual like bottom portion of the controller. I feel like Xbox, you can't do that. I feel like it's very thick in the middle, so that your hands almost grab it like like a sandwich almost, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that's completely right. Like I said, I've never really played one because I don't really have any friends that have any Xboxes. And that's not like a shady thing. It's just don't. So I haven't really held one. So I don't quite know. But for me, my favorite controller ever, I'd say this one is now like one of my faves, but like the one that I felt is the most comfortable in my hand was the PS2 controller.
Yeah.
That was a big step up from the first one.
PS2 controller was very, very, very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously the PS3 had essentially the same style.
Essentially the same thing, yeah. Just but a lot lighter.
Yeah.
Which
it was just the PS4. Yeah. It's just the PS4 that I was just like, I don't like it. But like,
it wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best, but I'm such a fan of the DualSense. Like, it's so comfortable as well. Like, and it just looks so good. And I can't wait till they start bringing out variations. I really, really hope that, like the design of the Xbox Pad, they also start to do a lot more variation. I know they did towards like well into the PlayStation lifespan, but Xbox has always had such an array of controllers. Like, it's mental, like all different styles and colours. And I do hope they kind of really push it out for the DualSense as well. As much as I love it as it is, I can just imagine it looking really fucking good with some different coloured like plates, you know?
Well, the fact that I'm annoyed at you now because you didn't remind me, you didn't say bundle to me.
Bundles.
I'm gonna show you.
Bundles.
Bundle. I basically saw on Twitter, and I'm gonna see if I can find it now. Someone was doing some kind of giveaway, and it was the Spider-Man bundle, PS5 bundle. You know, I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is official. I don't know if this is made up completely. I have no fucking clue. But I saw it and I nearly screamed because it looked insane. It's basically a PS5 in the theme of Spider-Man. So the face plates on the actual PS5 console are completely covered in like a spider's web with the Spider-Man logo having like a sheen to it. The controller was completely black with a spider on the actual touchpad part of the controller. It was mad, and now I'm getting more annoyed because I can't find it.
Have you tried just Googling it?
I'm just going to Google it because you need to see it.
I actually was really gutted about the fact that they brought out a limited edition Last of Us Part 2 PS4 console, like obviously when the game came out, and I was in love with that, and I thought, I'd love a Last of Us PS5. That is beautiful. I can't imagine that being a thing though, because I feel like that spider's very like there, you know, it's very like, hi, I'm here.
It looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
Look at the control. I don't know if this is real, by the way, but there's so many different pictures of it. So, it might just be concept.
It's not that hard. Let's be honest, right? 3D
it's
printers.
Concept art, just so it's concept art.
Right, but 3D printers nowadays are so accessible, and you can get all the software. Like, Blender's free. You can get all your measurements online, or if you have a 5, you can measure it yourself. You can also do a 3D scan of your PS5 and get the exact size that you need. And you could easily create your own faceplate. Now,
100%.
I'm sorry, Sony, don't hate me for this, but it is very easy for people to do it. Yeah, but it's just very easy for people to do that. So it's people are going to do it, you know, because you
no, 100%. I think that Sony. I mean, we spoke about it briefly last week. That there was a website called PlateStation that was live, and they were basically already starting to make custom faceplates for the PlayStation. So they were making ones based on games, making just jazzy ones or colourful ones or whatever. And Sony sent them a cease and desist. Now, the only reason they would send them a cease and desist is because they probably had those plans for themselves. Like, they want that money. Sony aren't stupid. So I reckon that we'll be very soon be seeing God of War faceplates, Spider-Man faceplates, Tomb Raider faceplates, whatever, and just colourful ones. They are definitely coming. That Spider-Man thing, I will definitely post it on our social media, but it's only concept art, but it looks fucking brilliant, and that just really makes it dips our toes into the water of what could be.
Yeah, and I feel like they've made it purposefully so easy to detach the plates.
Yeah.
So I think they've learned that, you know, consoles, it's not just about kind of what's inside anymore. People are very, very... I'm a very visual person, and I absolutely love like changing the little keys on my Switch or on my keyboard, like for like work, or when I'm on the PC, like getting little keycaps for it. You know, like I'm very into customization. So I feel like it's only right that they give people that option. And that's probably why they've made it so easy to take apart. So I just don't even want to think about how much official faceplate would actually cost from
That's
Sony.
A really good
I reckon
point.
it would be a bit steep, you know.
However, it might take some of that pressure off, because, you know, in the fact, like, when they've released things, like they've released, like you said, they released the Last of Us console. Like when they did that, I remember when they released the Spider-Man console for the PS4 and like the PS3, I think they did one too. Like they were always releasing these limited edition consoles. But if I've got a PS4, I'm not going to go a year later and buy another PS4 because it's limited edition. Like I might really want it, and I might think, oh shit, I wish I had that Last of Us one, but I'm not realistically going to buy a second console just because. And I think they've realised that, and I think that's why they this could be a potential gap in the market, because I might be a huge Spider-Man fan, but I already have a PS5, so I'm not going to buy a Spider-Man PS5. I might crave it, but I would never do that because I don't have thousands of pounds of disposable income. So it could be the fact that they could then just sell these plates, and I could be like, oh shit, I can buy these plates for 50 quid, you know, and have that instead. And that would be, you know, the difference between wanting something and actually having it, like being able to have it myself without buying a whole new console.
I can imagine them being about like 60-70 quid for the faceplate, or unless they really push the boat out and it's like £45 for each, you know what I mean? Like you could buy one, or you pay like £100 and get two. They could very, very, like, the monetization of this is going to be ridiculous.
It's insane, isn't it?
It does help people who do enjoy collecting it, because there is a lot of people that do just buy the consoles every year, limited edition consoles every year. Like when I worked at Game, I was selling them to people that I'd say, you know, like I'd get them a box and they'd be like, oh, that box is too ripped. Like I'd keep them in the box, and I'm like, oh, you're not going to play it? And they're like, no, I just collect them. And they'll come in every time and buy a new console because they're collectors. So I think it would be nice because it would be more affordable for people to collect it, and they can still do limited edition faceplates, and it just opens up like a world of customization. I've not looked that closely at the DualSense, but I know that you can take the bottom of it off, and I've seen a lot of people spray paint the bottom of it already.
Yeah,
so,
I've seen some people spray it black and stuff and what have you.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't think it'll be long before this customization thing really takes off.
I love it though.
I'm excited.
I love a good customization.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Also, side note, I also didn't realise that, and I remember watching it on release day, so I did see it at some point. I didn't realise there was a screw that goes into the bottom of the stand. And I was having dinner earlier on, and I was just watching a IGN review of the PS5. And I was sitting there watching it, and the guy talking was like, and the PS5 has a stand, and it's very easy to use. You simply twist this, and the screw comes out the bottom, and you screw it into the bottom to stop your PS5 from slipping. And I was like, and my eye just widened looking at the screen. I was like, oh shit, that ain't screwed in. I was like, that's going to fucking fall.
Do not even get me started about that stand. I sat there for a solid 20 minutes trying to clip this fucking stand on. And I just left it. I was like, do you know what? That's going back in the cellophane and back in the box. It's going to stand up by itself. It'll be fine. Fuck that.
But then I read the thing that was like, you shouldn't do that because it can damage it in some way. And I panicked, and then I was laying. Is yours standing or is yours laying down? Mine's a stand.
Well, at the moment, it's laying on the bed because it's fucking unplugged because the wire. But no, now you've said that, I feel like I need to battle it out with the stand once more.
It's really easy. Well, you just literally twist it, but then, well, I say it's easy. I haven't even done it properly, so there's a screw apparently hiding in it somewhere. And I remember watching a review. Do you remember that like Chinese guy that was like taking it apart in that video where he just like literally removed bits of the PlayStation and it was like screw for easy storage, and I was like, oh shit, that's really clever. But like it never sunk in, so like I don't know what I was doing.
Well, I I put it back in the box, so like you got further than I did. I'm wondering because I've obviously not taken it apart, but I'm wondering how customizable it is.
Get there, yeah.
I got there. Can you change, like, I'm pretty sure you can. You can change your storage and everything internally, can't you? Is it just external?
Right, you can. Okay, this is just literally from what I've been reading recently. So I don't know if you can change the storage, but you can add storage on. As far as I know, you can add a hard drive to store your PS4 games on this drive, but essentially if you want to play them, you then have to basically, it's like robbing someone to pay someone else. It's like you have to basically take them off of the backup drive, if you like, and bring them onto the 4 drive, and then put something new onto the back drive. It's like a scheme of swapsies. That's how I believe it's meant to work. I don't know if that will be how it actually does work, but that's the current rumor mill. That you have like storage space. It's almost like a working PC. Like, you know, if you have something on a backup drive, you have to bring it to your actual computer's hard drive before you can launch it. I think it's like that, which is fine. That's obviously that's fine, but it would be better if you could, almost like the other ones, like the PS3 and the PS4, you could change the internal storage. Because I remember my PS3, the first thing I did was buy a terabyte off Amazon for like 30 quid, and then that was it. My PS3 was lit, like, for really cheap.
So that's what I want to do with my 5. Like, I definitely want to bulk it out with a shit ton of storage.
Yeah.
Because the games are getting bigger. Like, I was actually gobsmacked. I looked at COD, Cold War, the new Call of Duty Cold War.
COD is famous for this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but like only kind of only recently have I noticed that the download things and everything, like all the news on that.
Yeah.
It was 270 something gig.
Wow.
And I was like, that's
like
half
the console.
Yeah, that is a lot of memory. Watch Dogs was about 30.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked at the PS4 games and Dark Souls was like 7 gig, and I was like, fuck me, like we've really pushed out on the old memory.
Well, saying that, I mean, Final Fantasy Remake is 90 gig.
Getting bigger, aren't they?
It is. I mean, that was what I was meant to be downloading last night when I was happily sleeping away, but obviously I was betrayed already in the early days.
Yeah.
So that's 90 gig, and like basically, you didn't do this, but when I did this, when you have the PS5, if you have a PS4 plugged in, you can transfer your data over. So after a bit of faffing, because I unplugged the PS4 to plug the PS5 in, then realised that I needed it on to transfer it. Anyway, drama aside, eventually got it working. But then I had to select the games I wanted to transfer over. Fine. But then I ticked about 7 games full. And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I transferred things over that I'm still halfway through playing or tend to go back to. So like I want to transfer Resident Evil 3 over, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Dragon Age Inquisition, because I recently replayed all of them and I was halfway through a big game like that. A few little things, and then that was it. It was full. And I was like, oh no. What am I going to do? Like we both have the disc version, not the digital version. So obviously it's limited. It's like 600 and something of usable storage. This is where the Xbox is better because I believe it's 800 and something of usable storage. So that is a lot better. I don't know why the PS5 is so low in that department. I'm not sure. Maybe the thought process behind it was if you're going to be more of a downloader, then you will get the digital only console, which I believe is a terabyte. I might be wrong, but I think that's a terabyte of storage. Which still isn't that much of an increase. Realistically, there's only 300 gig more of usable storage. That's like, that's like 3 CODs. that's like 2 CODs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had the Pro, which was 1 terabyte, which suited me fine because I'm very much like, I like to keep things clean. Like, I don't like games lingering on my console that I'm never going to play again or I finish. Like, I'll just delete them because I'm a
hoarder. I'm the opposite.
I'm not a hoarder. I like to keep it kind of like fresh, so I'm okay. But I do feel like in this day and age with how big games are getting, 500 gig is a little bit of a shit kind of size because it's, I mean, what can you really do with that? Exactly. COD's like already 200 gig. Get another 3 gig. You've got 3 games on your console and you can't play nothing else. And then you've got the games updates, mate.
And even if you have the disc, you have to install it. And if you have no storage, you have to install the game from the disc. You haven't got to house the game on your hard drive, but you have to have the data to run it. So again, you're like selling yourself short there. Like, yeah, I feel like that's where they kind of fucked up. I don't understand why they did that. I don't know. Maybe it was I'm not sure. I've got no excuse.
Probably just to buy expansions and stuff, for your storage.
Probably because they haven't actually released any official PlayStation compatible hard drives or expandable hard drives or whatever. So I'm sure that would be a gap in the market. They'll probably reach a deal with like Western Digital or something and have like the PS5 like expansion drive or whatever and like put a brand on it and charge you the earth for it.
I mean, obviously you could just use like how you have been able to do it since like 2 gens ago. It's just use external SSDs and just plug it in via USB and play off that if you really wanted to, or swap and change things, like, which is fine, but sometimes you just want it all in one, don't you? But then it just raises costs, and we'd end up having to spend like £800 on a console because, you know, it's a big thing, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing, and like I said, I'm quite a hoarder when it comes to games like this, because I always think back to when I downloaded PT and then I never played it for the opening launch, and then for some reason I deleted it. I was downloading something else, I'll delete it. I was like, okay, it's on my account, I'll download it later. And then obviously we all know what happened, and then I never ever got to play it. And then from that moment on, it's because of PT I now don't like to delete things unless it's like a very big franchise. If it's like Grand Theft Auto or something, which I would never delete Grand Theft Auto, but like if I was like, oh shit, I need storage for temporarily, it's okay, I'll delete GTA's install data because I know that's never going anywhere, it's such a big staple. But for like a little indie game like that, that's gone forever now. And like, remember they were selling PS4s on eBay for like fuck tons of money because people were desperate to play this game. So it's like, so now I'm always like dubious in the back of my mind. I'm like, should I delete that? What if I can't get it back? Like, because like a lot of other businesses do it to you all the time. Like iTunes have been doing it for ages. How many times have I bought a song, suddenly there's an issue with with whatever happens, and then they get rid of it off of their store and you can't get it back? Or even apps, like you download like Flappy Bird. Like, do you remember that whole drama? There's like loads of times where this happens.
This is obviously why people are worried, because naturally, like, this could be a whole other topic. It's just talking about the transition to digital, and I do feel like the transition to digital is now, and digital is always going to become more and more appealing to people. You're probably going to get more if you go digital. But obviously, you know, you don't own the game technically. You're essentially almost renting it, because you've got nothing to hold, and they can get rid of that, and that's nothing money tangible. Down the drain, you know. Exactly. So it's a bit like 6 and 2 3, isn't it? It's like, it's good because of this, but it's bad because of this. I'm very much happy with physical. I still get a little buzz at getting a game delivered, so I'd rather always buy physical.
I like to look at the case cheaper. And stuff.
It costs them virtually nothing to produce a digital code for their game, and they get full profit. You know, they're not having to print the discs and, you know, produce all that shit. So we'll be fully digital in, like, I reckon next gen the PS6 will be completely digital.
Oh, I'm guessing so as well. I reckon CDs will be obsolete. I mean, Apple already cancelled CDs. They're like officially cancelled, because when I bought I bought a Mac, even the Mac I had a long time ago, that I had to buy an external CD drive because it didn't come with one. So
I don't remember the last time I had anything with a CD drive.
No, I mean, obviously, it's a bit like VHS. When they stopped doing tapes and moved to DVD, I didn't buy any more videos, but it was like, I need a video player because I've got like loads of videos to use and loads of countless memories on like home recorded videos. Like, what do we do with those? And the same thing with DVD. Now DVDs and CDs are phasing out. It's like, fine, I don't need to buy more CDs or DVDs, but I've still got like fucking hundreds that I've bought over the years that I want to be able to watch if I need to. So like, you still need the ability to use them. Yeah,
because I mean, obviously they're just, everything's stream service now, isn't it?
And it's like USB that's going.
Yeah, it's all USB-C now. And or just wireless, just straight up wireless, you know. It's just like, fuck it. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. But I know that Sony had said a few times that they said, how good would it be if you could switch between games like you could Netflix? And that's kind of what they're going for, is just like, everything's just very quick, you know, and streaming, and it does show. I mean, I do kind of like the idea of streaming, especially for the Switch, for consoles that haven't maybe got the hardware to kind of counter these latest consoles. But you can still play the games purely because you're streaming it, which is brilliant. But then it obviously always relies on your internet, and like, it's just, you're kind of going in circles, aren't you? It's like, yeah, but here we are. We'll soon never have discs, and we'll have some little kid like, what's this round thing, and why has it got a hole in it? And you'll be like, it's a CD.
It's a CD. I'm not that old. But yeah, very interesting. So we're kind of coming towards the end of our time now, which is a bit sad actually, because I'm enjoying talking about the PS5. Obviously, this whole discussion we've had is based on literally 1.5 to 2 days of interacting with it. Like, I got it on Thursday, wired it all up, didn't actually proper sink my teeth into it until Friday evening, so yesterday evening. So I've only really been playing it for hours. I can't even say I've played 24 hours worth of it yet. So, like, obviously, all this is subject to change, and all this is based on literally the hours of first impressions. So, yeah, we might have to do a little update to this in like a month's time and see if like our minds have changed and stuff. But overall, I'm really loving this console. I can't wait to go and play it. Like I feel like this morning I turned it on. I didn't even know what to play, but I just turned it on because I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do with it? Like, I'm so excited about it just to look at it. So I can't wait. And I really do hope that other games that I play, I'm literally, as we finish this, about to go and buy Sackboy and Valhalla and stuff. If everything else is finished downloading, because everything was queued, but we won't rehash that. I hope they take full advantage of like the haptic feedback, the touchpad, all that kind of stuff, as much as Astro's Playroom shows that it can be done, because that would be fucking sick. Like, I'd be really ready for that. It reminds me of, like, do you remember on the PS3 when Heavenly Sword came out? A game that... I see you laughing already. Yeah, like, literally, the 6-axis controller, when that was a thing.
I just reenacted it. Reenacting the fucking scene, yeah.
If you haven't played it, like, there's a scene in it where you shoot an arrow and you have to be the arrow, and you're literally moving the control up and down like an idiot, controlling this arrow with a controller, and it took us hours to get past. But I did feel a little bit silly doing, I don't know if you've done it yet, in Astro's Playroom you get to put on lots of different suits, and they always involve the 6-axis elements of DualSense controller. And there's a bit with the rocket, there's a bit with the monkey, and there's a bit with the frog. The frog is the least enjoyable one, but the one with the monkey is really funny because you have to literally tilt your controller as you climb each bit. So I'm like, and like, I thought, if anyone could actually see what I'm doing, like, give me a full upper body workout trying to climb this wall. So, like, I don't really want to see it in all of my games, but I want to see some element. I want to see it used a bit more, because the PS3 never really took advantage of it, did it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like,
it did for a little bit, but then you kind of just... Yeah,
it became a novelty, didn't it?
used it a bit. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, some games really thrive off it, and then other games don't. I do hope that haptics is properly explored in this gen, because I feel like it's the only thing, apart from maybe better frame rates, and well, we're yet to really see a true power, like the true power behind the 5 and the Xbox, to see like games now, because no game has really been made with that much kind of like what's the word? We're still working off old tech at the moment, you know, so we haven't seen the true potential, but I do hope they carry on the haptics, because that's just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
It doesn't distract me, which is quite weird, because I thought maybe I'd get distracted by it, but I just sunk into it straight away.
That's it. I feel like the PS3 distracted me. I don't feel like this did. I feel like it felt more natural, it felt more fluid, it felt like refined and finessed.
Yes.
Finessed. Oh, also, last thing. Do you remember last week you said that I told you about the PS3 game that I bought on launch, and it was a game about rubber ducks, and you were like, I've never heard of it. Yeah. Right, if you play Astro's Playroom, I'm pretty sure the Cool Springs level in the like fan of the fan component of the console is the ducks in there are from that game, and I googled it. It's called Super Rubber Dub, and it's literally ducks and a shark, and I'm pretty sure that's where they're from. So I'm gonna send you some footage of that game tonight, and you can see what I'm talking about.
You got a call back to that game that I never heard of.
You would love it. It was really weird. But as we're talking, my phone's just beeped, and it says Marvel Spider-Man is ready to play, and that's the PlayStation app that has just buzzed me. So on that
have you got the new one, or have you got the...
What, Miles Morales?
Yeah.
No, that's still queued. I'm still waiting for that one. So that's my PS4 download of... Basically, I queued all the PS4 games and then bought PS5 games, which was probably stupid. But now I'm waiting. It like has an order, so it's doing them all in this order. So I don't know when they will appear on my console. But now I've set it to rest mode. It hopefully will be soon. But that's quite a lot of games to be downloading.
They tend to go a bit quicker in rest mode. At least they did on the 4.
They did. It does on the 5 too. I will say, like when I had it in rest mode, they were all going quick. But
exciting.
On that note, I've got a game to play, and only an hour until I'm a celeb. So I think we should leave it there.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
It has been a good one.
We've had a good old chat. I hope everyone's enjoyed our experience so far with the console. I mean, obviously it's early days, but we hope you agree and you're enjoying your console as well. So, like, congratulations if you got one. And if you didn't, hopefully they sort that shit out.
I know. I hope they do sort that shit out soon. Let us know if you did get one. Let us know if you agree with us or not. We do have social media. So we do have Twitter at TG Breakdown, and we do have an Instagram at TG Breakdown Podcast. And very soon we are coming to YouTube too. So YouTube too. So do check us out and shut up. Right. Right. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.